All right, so if you want FPS like this, go ahead and watch this full guide here to make sure that you get the best FPS possible. We're not going through the regular stuff today, guys. You guys already seen 1,000 guides that absolutely don't work for you guys. So we're gonna take a deep dive and make sure that you guys have the best FPS possible. I'm gonna go way more in depth than normal. If you want just a regular guide, then you could go and search up all those rest of, like Call of Duty guides out there that gives you the same exact settings that don't increase your FPS at all. This guide is for advanced users who really want to get an FPS boost. And I'm going to show you why you need a SENSEQUALITY optimization there and why you should visit SENSEQUALITY.com, because I'm going to provide you so much FPS that you're going to be like, wow, if they're giving me this much FPS with this guide alone, I wonder what they can do with the optimization there or a PC tune. So go ahead and visit that website there after you're done with this guide. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to ask the question, where should you download Call of Duty here? Should you download it from Battle.net? Should you download it from Steam? Should you download it from Xbox Game Pass? I've tested all three of these on about 500 computers so far, guys. And the best way to get the most FPS in Call of Duty is downloading it through the Battle.net app there. Uninstall it from Steam, uninstall it from Game Pass, delete that subscription that you have with Microsoft, buy the game on Battle.net. That's going to give you the most FPS, but it's not over, guys. If you have the game on Steam, guess what? Just disable the Steam overlays and you should be good there, but just know that your game's going to feel a little bit more janky on Steam. So the next thing that we're going to do is you're going to go into the link down below, which is my SENSEQUALITY FPS guide link, right? And this is where all the files are going to be located. The first thing that we're going to look for is deleting the shader cache here. So I'm going to show you guys right here. Boom, delete shader cache COD 24. That is going to remove all the junk that you've had in the past for Call of Duty. Automatically just run that as an administrator and you should be good there. So go ahead and download that, run that as an administrator. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to clean.bat, run it as an administrator. It's going to clean out your entire PC. Make sure that you're starting almost from scratch here, which is perfect. Next thing that we're going to do is we are going to go into soqtings.reg. You're going to run that. That makes sure that your GPU is prioritized. So your game gives you more FPS. You get more FPS. You're more happy. We're all happy here. So that's the next thing that you do. After that, what you're going to do is do Windows debloat here. So that is going to be this one right here. You're going to download that. And I could show you how to actually do that manually. If you wanted to do that one manually, you would go to turn off game bar here, right? So you'll search up game bar, turn that baby off. Game mode, turn that baby on. Transparency, turn that baby off. Windows, fix blurry apps off, right? I don't have it on Windows 10, Windows 11, unfortunate. Disable background apps. You don't have that on Windows 11. That's fine. On Windows 10, make sure that you do that. Remove startup apps here. So you're going to turn off all those startup apps that you have. That is unnecessary. That is a huge one, guys. That's going to increase your FPS a lot there. And then for the power options, which is kind of a weird one. If you're on AMD, just leave this on balance there. If you are on Intel, leave this on ultimate performance there, and you should be good here. So that is step one. I would rewind that back if you didn't catch all of that, because that is going to be very, very pivotal for your FPS, and make sure that your game's running as smooth as possible here. We're not going to give you the same thing everybody else is giving you. We're giving you the exact things that will make sure that you're getting the best performance out of your computer here. This is why you clicked on the video. So the second thing is, if you're getting shadow banned on Call of Duty, a lot of you guys are getting shadow banned. If you're getting FPS drops on Call of Duty, a lot of you guys are getting FPS drops. Disable all overlays here. So basically on Discord, I'm going to come over to Discord here, right? So let me just load that up. You're going to disable the Discord overlay. You're going to disable your Steam overlay. If you have Overwolf, you're going to disable that overlay. NVIDIA overlay, you're going to disable that overlay. Anything that is an overlay, just disable that, because that takes away from your game. Do you have wallpaper engine? Uninstall it. I know there's a setting in there that pauses it and stuff like that. Why did you get a $5,000 PC if you're going to use wallpaper engine? Go ahead and uninstall that. Make sure that you're getting the most out of your PC. You paid $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for this PC. You want to make sure that it's running as fast as possible there. So that should be the second thing that you should go through. And we've already done way more than all of the other guides have already taught you so far. You're already gonna get like a 10, 15 FPS boost from that right there. I haven't even started on the game yet. So let's go over to Discord real quick. I'll just show you. You go to settings, you go to, should be game overlay here, disable that bad boy right there. Do the same thing for Steam and everything else, and you should be good here. So next, we're not even touching the game yet, guys. We're not even touching the game yet, but we're gonna still increase your FPS. You're gonna go to this sidebar right here. You see all this stuff right here when you click this button? You're gonna exit out of all of this stuff, right? Because this stuff is what's running in the background while you are on your computer here and while you're gaming. You don't want any of this stuff to run in the background. It's taking away from your game. It's stealing your data. Just go ahead and disable that and exit out of that. If you want to do it where you don't have to do it every time, you'll go to Task Manager, you'll go to Startup Apps, and you're going to come over here, click on status so you can see everything that's enabled here, right? I use this computer for work, so I have a lot of this stuff enabled for work, but if you only use your computer for gaming, just disable all of this unless it's like NZXT Cam or like Corsair app where you're using it for your fans or cooling. That's what I wouldn't disable. But if you're not using it for any of that stuff, it's just stuff in your background, go ahead and disable that and you should be good to go here. The next thing that we're going to do is we're just going to go quickly through the game settings because you probably seen this 1,000 times. I'm going to quickly go through these for you, okay? So you're going to go to display settings, the display mode, full screen exclusive, display adapter, make sure that that's your GPU, right? And then the screen refresh rate, that should be matching your monitor. Mine is a 360 hertz monitor. That should be 360. I'm just putting this on full screen borderless for the video, guys, but go ahead and just follow me and you should be fine here. Next thing, NVIDIA Reflex low latency. Okay, we're going to explain this simply. What you're going to do is you're going to go into the multiplayer game if you have it, right? You're going to run a benchmark. If you have, there's going to be a CPU bottleneck and a GPU bottleneck. Should be like 75%, 25%. It should equal out to 100%. Whichever one has the highest percentage is your bottleneck. So let's say I ran a benchmark, right? Which is right here, by the way. My CPU is 75% bottleneck. That's cool. I'm going to use NVIDIA Reflex on plus boost. Let's say I ran a benchmark. My GPU is 51%. I'm going to use NVIDIA on, right? So whichever one is a higher percentage, that's what you're going to do this setting based on. You have to run the benchmark, guys, to make sure that you're using the right setting here. If you don't, you're not going to know what's really your bottleneck here, unless you're just really good with computers. Now, customer frame rate, I would just go custom if you don't have over a 300 hertz monitor, right? 250, 120, 30, that should be good there. Why, Kirneill? Because that's going to reduce overall temperatures on your PC. So, after a game where, you're just waiting in a menu and then you start the next game and your PC is not feeling good and it's feeling all clunky and stuff, that's because your GPU is running at 100% during loading the next game. You got to let the GPU cool off a little bit. Just like a car, you can't let the car run forever as fast as possible. You got to let it cool off a little bit and then run again. Cool off a little bit and then run again. And that's why you use this custom frame rate limit there. If you want your game to be smoother, this is going to help for sure there. I just leave it on unlimited because I have a 360 hertz monitor to flex. So that's why I leave it on unlimited there. The next thing that we're going to do is high dynamic range. I don't know who uses this. Turn that baby off there. So that should be good. Let me give you guys the details here. VRAM scaling, put this at 80, leave that alone. NVIDIA DLSS frame generation, never turn this on. AMD FSR3 frame generation, never turn this on. Upscaling, this should be fidelity cast if you have a really good PC. Let's say you don't have a really good PC here. That is perfectly fine. Use NVIDIA DLSS, right? You could use balance or performance, right? And then you could use like 60 sharpness, press apply, boom, automatic FPS boost right there. Your GPU should be performing way better than before there. So that should be good. But if you have a really good PC, if you have a 4070, then you can use fidelity cast there. But if you want an instant FPS boost, use DLSS here. That should be perfectly fine. A lot of you guys from like the past guides, you guys were like, why is my FPS like lower in the past guides? That's because you were probably using NVIDIA DLSS when fidelity cast is going to give you lower FPS in general, just because it's not upscaling. It's actually just sharpening your game. Next, variable rate shading. Make sure you have this bad boy on, okay? Texture resolution, very low. Texture filter anisotropic, low. Depth of field, off. Detail quality, high. Particle resolution, very low. Bullet impacts, on. Persistent effects, off. Shader quality, low. On-demand texture streaming, minimal. Local texture streaming quality, low. Shadow quality, very low. Screen space shadows, off. Occlusion and screen space lighting, off. Screen space reflection, off. Static reflection quality, low. Tessellation, off. Volumetric quality, low. Deferred physics quality, off. All of this stuff is off here. Next, you're going to go to view. Let's say you're on controller. You should not be using anything over a 107 field of view. If you are not on controller, you're on a mouse and keyboard, you're going to use 120. Take your advantage and run with it. Okay, weapon field of view, you're going to use wide, world motion blur off, weapon motion blur off, first camera and third camera movement 50%, third doesn't matter, inverted flashbang on. You don't have the FPS at the top left, that's fine. You're going to go to interface, telemetry, just turn all these bad boys on here, or if you could do custom, just do the FPS counter and server latency. Really, that's all that matters to you there. Okay, so the next thing is we're going to go into the NVIDIA control panel here. So if you have an NVIDIA GPU, just going to pull up the NVIDIA control panel, right? And I'm going to show you exactly what to do here. You're going to go to manage 3D settings. You're going to scroll down, prefer power management, prefer max performance, okay? Shader cache size. You want this to be 100 gigabytes, right? And then the texture filtering quality, high performance, right? And then you want threaded optimization to be on. And that's about it there. So that should be good. Then you're going to go to where it says change resolution, right? And you're going to make sure that you're using the max resolution for your monitor. Mine's 1440p. And then you're going to make sure you're using the max refresh rate for your monitor. Mine is 360 hertz. And then you should be good there too. G-Sync, you play Call of Duty, just go ahead and turn it off there. Unless you want your game to be a little smooth, that's when you turn G-Sync on. It doesn't cause that much delay there, but if you are worried about input delay and having the lowest latency possible, then you turn G-Sync off there. And then you're going to go to where it says MSI Afterburner. You probably don't have MSI Afterburner downloaded. So what you have to do is type in MSI Afterburner on Google, right? Or I'll just put the link down below there. But you could probably find it on Google here to download. And you come over here, you download it now, you run all this, and then you'll have an app that looks like this here. I'm teaching you how to overclock your GPU here. Be very careful in doing this. So now what you're going to do is you're going to come over here to this little settings here. You're going to go to start with Windows, start minimize, check those. Press apply, press OK, and then you should be good. This overclocks for NVIDIA GPUs, not AMD GPUs. AMD GPUs, I'll make a separate video for you guys, and I'll make a more in-detailed video for NVIDIA GPUs. So make sure you like and subscribe. That way you could see that video in the future to get even more FPS here. I'm giving you guys the absolute sauce right here, okay? Next thing you're going to do is you're going to go to Windows, this Windows right here. Make sure that that little baby is blue right there. You want to make sure that's blue. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to max out our power limit. Let me just start this from scratch. Max out this power limit here. Check mark. Boom, we're good. Memory clock, this could be anywhere from 300 to 500 hertz, right? And you're just going to check mark that and you should be good. And if you want to stop right here, you can just go ahead and just save it to number 2, like for example, right? Then what you're going to do is you're going to go to curve editor, right? And then you will see this little bad boy right here, okay? So I've done this 1,000 times, so I know exactly the kind of settings that works for my GPU. With your GPU, it might need to have little settings to tweak here and there. I would just YouTube a video of your GPU getting overclocked, and that should be a good reference, but I would test it out for yourself because you don't want to get scanner repairs in a game. You want your game to be as smooth as possible, get the highest FPS possible, but most importantly, be as consistent as possible. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to do 1100. You're going to max this out to, let's say 100, right? So you see the 1100 voltage right here. That's what Call of Duty runs for NVIDIA GPUs. So you're going to move that up to plus 96 or plus 100, right? Or you can just type it in like right here, right? But I'm too lazy to do that. Now you're going to hold shift. And while you hold shift, you're going to drag your mouse to the side like that, right? You're going to bring all of these bad boys down, okay? Under this 96. Then you're going to press the check mark and you see how the graph just changed there? Boom, it's telling Call of Duty, hey, make sure that you're using 1100. This is the exact megahertz that I want my GPU on. This is how I want my GPU overclocked. That's what you're doing right now. Now, after that, you're going to go ahead and just save that to number 2, and you should be good. For all the tryhards, this is the advanced option here. If you want to try hard, you can go ahead and increase this a little bit more and more. Then you hit the check mark, then you save it there. And then you do it until you get scanner repairs in your game, and then you decrease it. So that way you're finding the maximum GPU megahertz for your game, and you are maxing out your GPU so you get the most FPS possible there. But we're not tryharding today. We want our game to not crash. So we're going to do 99, check mark, save that. Let's say you're getting crashes in the future there. All you have to do is open up MSI Afterburner, go ahead and just click this little refresh button right there. It'll fix the crashes, no problem there. And if you're extreme tryhard, what you can do is you can come over here into the settings. You can go to unlock voltage control, unlock voltage monitor, force constant voltage, and press apply, press OK, and just rev the voltage up to 100% there. And then press this check mark right here and save it. The only thing I don't like about doing that is just because it causes a little bit more scanner repairs, but it really doesn't matter if you do that or not. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. Oh, I forgot one thing on the NVIDIA control panel. So we're gonna go back to the NVIDIA control panel here, right? And then we're gonna go to adjust desktop color settings. Boom, you're gonna do 50, 55%, 75%, and then you're gonna press apply. Boom, you should be good there. That's going to make sure your game looks way better than what it did before. So that's going to be perfectly fine there as well. So you made it to this part of the video. Congratulations. You probably already get plus 10, plus 20 FPS right now. All right, so we're going to go to the folders here, right? Remember that link that I said down below? You're going to click on the new COD settings here, and I already saved all of these for you, right? And you're going to change all of these settings in this folder here. So you're going to go open up documents. You're going to go to Call of Duty. You're going to go to players, and you see this .text file, .text0 file, and .text1 file. You're going to open all of them up, right? And what you're going to look for is these settings in the new COD settings folder. So if I wanted to look for the virtual texture mode, I would just copy this, virtual. I would just go ahead and control F right here, virtual. Made it real easy for you there. And then it should find it right here. Boom. So I found this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this matches this here. So what I can do is just copy this, right? And I'll just go ahead and paste it right here. Go ahead and control save, and then do that for the other two .text files as well. So you have to do it for all three, guys. You can't just do it for one. You have to do it for all three there, and you should be good. And then the next thing I would look for is GPU heaps, right? This turns off resize bar. This should be false if you have an NVIDIA GPU. It should be true if you have an AMD GPU, right? So that's the only thing you would want to look for there. So I would just copy this, GPU upload heaps, control find, right? Press enter, boom, and just go ahead and just copy, right? Paste this, bang. Control save, and you should be good. It's easy as that, guys. And it's the same thing for all of these down below, right? Some might have changed, so I would just recheck these, but it's the same thing. So basically, texture anisotropic, this should be anti 2 times, static clip shadow. This should actually be 0 there, so that should be fine. Reflection probe, half resolution, true, right? Persistent damage layer, false, right? And then corpse culling, 0.5. AA technique, SMAA. I'm not sure if this is still in the game. I would have to check. Let me just check this for you guys real quick. On the fly optimization, guys. Yep, still in the game there. So you just copy and paste that one. Corpse limit, 0. Blood effects, true, right? And then this millisecond here, you would want it at 1. And you want to just make sure that that is at 1 on this one as well. So I would just copy paste, boom, there we go. 1 millisecond, control save, we're good. Awesome. So that's all you need to know for the out of game settings there. Just make sure again, guys, you do .text file, .text0 file, .text1 file. And what I would do just to make it easy for you guys, right? Just copy all 4 of these files, right? Just make a new folder, name it settings, paste all the files over here. Because if your settings resets every time, you don't want to do this every time, right? So I just copy this folder, just paste it out here, and boom. You never have to worry about it again there. You can just always copy that folder, paste it back every time Call of Duty has an update, and you never have to worry about that again. So one more thing with the corpse culling here. So s.text, we're going to scroll all the way down here. You could do the video memory scale 0.8, that's fine. And we're going to go to where it says render worker count. Okay, so for render worker count, what you're going to do is, if you have 8 or less cores, just leave this, right? Just leave this as is. it should be perfectly fine, or you can put it at 7. It should be perfectly fine here, right? If you don't know your cores, you go to Task Manager, you go to Performance, you go to CPU, you'll look at your cores down here, and that's how much cores you have. I have 16 cores, right? Now, this gets a little complicated, okay? If you have 8 or more cores, this definitely gets complicated, right? So if you have like a 5950X, or let's say like a Ryzen 7950X, right? Or anything like that that's Ryzen, you're gonna go 8 cores. That's what your winter workout should be. If you have a 7900X, right, or a 5900X Ryzen CPU, this should be 6 cores, right? If you have a Intel 14900K, 13900K, 12900K, anything like that, this should be 7 cores. Not that hard, guys. So basically, I would just follow this. If you have 8 or less cores, just leave it alone. Don't even touch it. If you have 8 or more cores, like the ones that I've listed right here, right? $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 PC users, you would want to configure it like what I just said, okay? And that's the only complicated part about this whole video. But other than that, you should be good there. Now, let's say I don't have the latest GPU driver. What you're not going to do is use the NVIDIA GeForce Experience. What you are going to do is search up GPU drivers on Google. You're going to download your official drivers, right? And what you're going to do is manually search it. So you're going to do GeForce RTX 40 series, right? And then NVIDIA 4070 Ti, that's what I have. Click your Windows 11, find that, bada bing, bada boom. It's going to give you the best drivers possible. You download those drivers, you should be good. Not that hard, you should be fine here. Hey, Kirneill, I'm still not getting the FPS that I want. I want 300 FPS. I want 400 FPS, right? I want those kind of FPS numbers. So I'm going to show you the exact things that are limiting your FPS. Number 1, it's going to be your temperature. Number 2, it's going to be your CPU. 3, your GPU, most likely, right? And these are going to be the main things that really limit your FPS. So your computer might be outdated, right? So basically, a lot of the times people see these FPS on a lot of like these famous streamers' pages, and they don't realize that number 1, they have the best CPU possible, best GPU possible, best memory possible, right? And they're actually getting a tune like the one from SENSEQUALITY.com. I'm going to put it down here. So they're getting that, and not only on top of that $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 PC, they actually have a PC tune or an all-inclusive tune as well on top of that. Because what people don't realize is you bought that $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 PC to be overclocked. A gaming PC is supposed to be overclocked, and if you have no idea how to overclock it, you really want to get that done there, because what's the point of paying $4,000, $5,000 for a PC if you're not going to make sure that it's running the maximum possible? All the streamers that you see on our website there, you can go ahead and check it out. They have an overclock with their PC on top of that. And that's why their game runs so smooth. That's why their kills are looking so easy. That's why their movement is looking smooth as well, on top of their skill as well. I'm not going to lie to you and say that's all there is to it, but it's a huge part. You want to make sure that you're not at a disadvantage while somebody else is at an advantage, right? And this is specifically talking to you ranked players. A lot of you guys are at a disadvantage here. So the number 1 thing is to have like a really good PC. Like for the CPUs, I would get a 9800X 3D if you want to just absolutely ball out. 9800X 3D CPU, right? If I wanted that max FPS possible, I would probably get like an Asus X870, right, motherboard, right, and a 4090 GPU. And this is the kind of like configurations that you would want for the maximum FPS possible. Here, it could be a 4080 Super. It gets complicated, right? If you need help with this, what I've seen the smartest people do is they go on our website. They buy an all-inclusive optimization, right? We schedule an appointment. I'll talk to you one-on-one, or one of our techs will talk to you one-on-one. We will actually make a plan for you, right, to get the best PC possible and the best monitor possible, the best router possible. Everything that you're going to buy, we will sketch it out for you. That way you don't get scammed with all of these bad gaming products here. There's a lot of bad gaming products that you guys have, and you don't get scammed with a pre-built, right? And then once you get it, you get another appointment, and we make sure that that runs as fast as possible there. That way, if you're investing $5,000, $6,000 into your setup, you're making sure that it's done the right way, and then you're just not guessing there. And if you already have a setup, we'll make sure that your FPS increases, and if it doesn't, you get your money back there. It's that simple. Go ahead and follow this guide here, guys. Make sure that you review everything that I've said in this guide. I'm going to leave the link down below that you need from this guide. I'm going to leave a link down below with information here, SENSEQUALITY.com. You can go ahead and follow me on Twitter as well to get live FPS updates if you want to see what to do to make sure that you're getting the most FPS possible consistently. And don't forget, guys, to leave a like, subscribe if you want me to make more videos like this, and let me know what your FPS is looking like down below. Well, I hope that helps again, guys, and you have a wonderful rest of your day. You take care.